Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, rabbits and raccoons, you are now tuned in to Beyond the Blur, where we talk about technology, science, and of course, artificial intelligence. Boy, do I got a story for you.
Welcome to the Blur, where tech, science, and AI is our brand.
Let's get it. Imagine having a niece or nephew or son or daughter who use ChatGPT to manipulate you. Yeah, you heard me right. Imagine having a niece or nephew, son or daughter that use ChatGPT that can manipulate you. Now, I know what you're saying. How is this done? How is that even possible? That does not make sense. Here's the story. About 3 months ago, my niece, just like any niece or son or daughter, comes out and says she wants some Nike Tech. Okay, that sounds about regular. But now we go through our whole spiel, me and her auntie, that we typically do. What have you done for us lately? Now, that phone call went from phone call to text real quick. And it was her that pushed it to that point where we was texting. Now, you can kind of see over a little period of time that she was having a hard time getting right back to us. You know, when the natural flow of a text goes, it's disrupted by something, and you can kind of see that the person on the sending and the receiving end is literally distracted by something. So we noticed that this preteen over time, for whatever reason, started to have a vocabulary that thereof a professor, a college professor. We did not catch it at first, but when we started asking questions like, okay, this next year, it sounds like you're going to be going into calculus. Can you tell me what calculus is? That was the only way we was able to catch her, by putting in a dummy question, and she outsmarted herself. She put that question into ChatGPT. ChatGPT gave her an answer. She gave us the answer. And we all know, unless you got one of those gifted kids, there is no way in hell that you got a preteen that's not in high school yet that's doing calculus. So I say all of that to say this, because you never really think about these things until you think about these things, that AI is changing the way that our kids maneuver. I've already talked about in past videos how there's something called the Riz app, where these kids are taking text messages, putting the text message into this app, and the AI pretty much spits out what they should say. So they don't even have game for themselves. They got to get game from an AI, which is like mind blowing. If you ain't got game, you ain't got game. That was the coming of age for guys. If you didn't have game, you learned how to talk to girls, but not no more. AI is helping these kids. So then I further went down and I said, when you really think about it, AI has passed the bar exam. Yes, you heard me. ChatGPT and other forms of AI have now gotten to the point where they can consistently pass the bar exam. And that is one hard test. The issue with this is kids have access to that tool for little to nothing. What they do is they can get their homework from school, take a picture of their homework, and literally upload it, and ChatGPT spits out the answer. Even if it's math, it shows the work. This blows my mind as an uncle and a father to be, because it's like, how do you combat these kids when it comes to ChatGPT and AI? They're using AI to build their life, and there's a lot of good things that AI can do. Hell, AI is going to help me with this description, but AI never helped me with an ACT and an SAT. And we know that phones are not allowed in those rooms. But even before we get to that room, your teacher give you some homework assignment. You take that homework assignment home. Chances are the parents are not going to be paying attention. You take a picture of that homework. Voila, you're done with the homework in less than 20 minutes. There's nothing teachers can do. There's nothing teachers or professors at college can do. Yes, you can have a pop quiz, but if I ace every single take-home test or every single take-home assignment just to fail one or two assignments, even if it's 50% of my grade, you know how we say, these get degrees. I just pretty much walked my way through life because of a simple tool. I also think about the isolation that a lot of people have. I wasn't a popular kid in no way, shape, or form, but at least I can hold a conversation if I was cool with you. A lot of these kids are sinking deeper into the abyss because if they cannot have friends in high school, they make these make-believe friends through ChatGPT, and they can have a conversation going back and forth with them. I see this as we're going to have an increase in mental health issues. For sure. For sure. Mental health issue, the crises is going to go up. Now, I will say, I'm no doctor, so don't listen to a damn thing that I say, but I am a brother at the same time, a father to be, and an uncle. So I'm only saying where I see this go. Though the mental health issue is going to go up, I do see, things like suicide go down, because at least a person has something to talk to. You see what I'm saying? Like, a lot of people who grew up in a situation where they have nothing to talk to or nobody to talk to, at least they have something. And that thing can rationalize them back to health from a mental standpoint. Now, that sucks for therapists in a way, because if an AI system can kind of groom you and tell you, like, what you're going through in high school is normal, this is typical, keep growing, then by the time they get out of high school, they're already used to having that easy thing and that easy access to have somebody to talk to. The byproduct of this is, what's the point of me talking to a human being? All of this sounds crazy. I asked my wife this the other day, not to keep jumping from topic to topic, but I'm trying to keep you engaged. I asked my wife the other day, I said, what happens the day that your son or daughter comes home and they said, Mom and Dad, I'm in love? And you're excited. But then as a father, depending on who you are, you want to know more. They come back and say they fell in love with AI. Now, I'm not saying that it's going to happen tomorrow. I'm not going to say it's going to be a mass adoption next week. I'm just saying that I see this happening for those who didn't develop the game or who have those social anxieties, especially when you're in high school and you're supposed to be developing these things. And it's going to ripple through parenthood, going through Generation X and everything else. So I'll leave that there. That's just the way that I feel. This is just my idea. If you like what you heard, welcome to the Blur. Hit that subscribe button. But we're going to continue to double down on AI and technology from a brother and a culture point of view. Other than that, I'm about to roll up out of here. I got to go to work. Until I get enough subscribers and y'all get me away from that, then that's where I'm at right now. But all things said, God bless. I'm up out of here.